Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to start learning about the history of our Indian subcontinent. Hopefully, after a couple of practice quizzes, you guys are starting to get a handle on the geographic features of the region, the mountain ranges, the plateaus, our surrounding bodies of water, our rivers, the big cities, the different countries. Today, what we're specifically going to start looking at is an ancient civilization that is going to develop here along the Indus River. Now, we've talked about a couple of different ancient civilizations. You guys just did a great job on the I-STEP practice question. Again, what are going to be some different things that these ancient civilizations are going to utilize those rivers for? So like I was saying, here is going to be our Indus River Valley civilization. You guys can see them located on the map. Here would be our Indus River. This would be the country of India. This would be the country of Pakistan up into Afghanistan. But our Indus River Valley civilization is going to be located right there in the peach color. Again, right on top of that Indus River, utilizing it for food, basic needs, survival. Obviously, the number one thing being farming, used for trade, used for travel, for communication. We think the ancient Indus lived about 4,000 to 1,000 BC. So if we kind of think in the grand scale of time, I mean, that's over 4,500 years ago. What's really neat about the ancient Indus is some of the technology that they are going to possess. Please always remember, just because a civilization is ancient doesn't mean they're not capable of some truly amazing things. So I just wanted to show this map to you so you could see in reference where all of our ancient civilizations thus far have been located. So the very first ones that we talked about were right here. It was our ancient Egyptians in northern Africa on the Nile River. And then we moved over and we talked about our ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia on the Tigris and Euphrates River. And now you guys can see we're here in the Indian subcontinent and we're talking about the ancient Indus on the Indus River. And you guys can see just a little bit to the right, this is going to be where we will finish up with the year. Not finish the year, but when we get back from spring break, this is going to be our fourth and last civilization in ancient China. Like I was saying, just because a civilization is ancient does not mean they're not capable of some pretty incredible things. So one of the things about the ancient Indus is the major metropolis cities that they build. It's called Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. So these are their two central cities in for the ancient Indus. I kind of think of these two cities like the New York City and the Los Angeles of the United States. I mean, that's how impressive these two cities were. You have to imagine there's several 100,000 people living within these two cities. I mean, you have to know where your houses are going to be, where your roads are going to be, your centralized buildings. All of those things have to be well laid out to have a functioning city. So again, I kind of think of like Mohenjo-Daro as the Los Angeles and the Harappa as the New York City in the ancient Indus world. Something that's even cooler kind of about the ancient Indus and specifically within these two cities, you guys, they had indoor working toilets. That's pretty cool. I mean, to give you some reference, we're not going to have working toilets in the Western world until about 200 years ago. And the ancient Indus had them over 4,000 years ago. It's pretty credible what these ancient civilizations are capable of. They had working drainage systems. I mean, they had capabilities to pipe water into the cities, to pipe water out. Again, in reference, we're not gonna have that in the United States, in Europe, until about 200 years ago. So it's pretty cool how early the ancient Indus had it. Show you guys on the map. Here's those two cities we're just talking about. Again, you have to kind of think this would be our Indus River right about here. Here's our ancient Indus River Valley civilization. And then you see those two cities, the Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. It'd be like the New York and Los Angeles of the United States today. This is a picture of some ancient ruins from the Indus River Valley civilization. This is known as the Great Bath. Again, it's incredible the technology the ancient Indus had. They had piping and plumbing that could get hot water into this great bath and also drainage systems that could take dirty water away. And remember, as you're looking at this, this is over 4,000 years old and what the ancient Indus were capable of. Now, something else interesting about the ancient Indus, it's almost like our ancient Kush. The ancient Indus had a written language. They left behind several works of their written language. However, we have not been able to decipher it. So just like the ancient Kush, they left us a whole bunch of written work, but we have no idea what it's saying. We can kind of take a look at it and maybe make some assumptions, but like the way that we had the Rosetta Stone for the ancient Egyptians, we do not have a definite way to decipher the ancient Egyptian language. So take a look at this chart, you guys. You can see the language of the ancient Sumerians, the way that they would have written it, and then what it actually translates to. You can see the same thing for the ancient Egyptians and their hieroglyphics, what it translates to, the ancient Chinese, which we're going to see here in just a little bit, and what it would translate to. But look at this for the ancient Indus. We have their writing system, but no definite way to decipher it. Now, you guys know technology is changing every day. You give this another 100 years or even another 20 years, and we may have a translation for that ancient Indus language. It's crazy. Maybe they had a cure for cancer or some disease that we just do not know about yet because we cannot decipher the language. I just want to show you guys several other artifacts that the ancient Indus were capable of creating. What you're actually looking at a picture of here, these are ancient musical instruments of the Indus. These are actually whistles. If you picked these up and used them today, they would still work. Remember, they're over 4,000 years old. These are some clay sculptures that the ancient Indus created. Obviously, some time, we have some wear and tear on them, some damage. But again, the artistic capabilities of the ancient Indus for being 4,000 years old, it's pretty incredible. You guys can see here some potics and ceramics, some pottery and ceramics that the ancient Indus would have created, the details and the artwork that they were capable of. And I love this too. The ancient Indus, the jewelry that they were capable of making. These are some bracelets, some necklaces, some rings, different things that they would have had. Again, if you look at the tradesmanship and the craftsmanship of the stones and of the metalwork, that's pretty impressive for an ancient civilization. Now, tomorrow what we're actually going to talk about is how do we go from this ancient Indus River Valley civilization to a full-blown, massive, powerful, wealthy empire in ancient India.